Hey, folks, this is Lee Clocky. We are live and for a great interview tonight. We are going to be interviewing Dan the Man Martin. Been looking forward to this for a while. I haven't seen Dan since, it's been a couple of months. We spent some time in Texas together here a couple of months ago. And I've been looking forward to this interview for quite a while. I'm going to stall a little bit, see if we can get some audience participation here. If I'm going to wait just a second here. So if you are just logging on here, just look at that crawl on the bottom of the screen. And it says, please go to streamyard.com/Facebook. And you'll just get a permission, a blue page there. It has a button right in the middle of it. It says allow permissions. And that way when you text in, Dan and I will be able to see who is texting in. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user. And it'd be really cool to be able to see who's talking to us so we can address you directly. And I noticed that I do have one user online there. And if you would just do me the favor and just let me know that you can hear me. Shoot me a 1 in the comment box and let me know that you can hear me. Oh, whoever that was disappeared. They're shy. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to wait just another minute here. Okay. I got Facebook user. So Facebook user, if you would just go to streamyard.com/Facebook and just push allow permissions, I would know who you are. And until then, you could actually just say, hey, this is Bob, so I would know who you are. But you did shoot me a 1, so I know who you are. So if you just go to streamyard.com/Facebook and allow permissions, that way Dan and I could talk to you and address you with your name. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user, and we don't know who you are. So Dan Martin, he had some pretty stringent requirements. He's a big star. He's kind of a big deal, and he's waiting in the green room back there. Clark, hey Clark, I see you there. Thank you. Thanks for attending. Clark, can you hear me loud and clear? Shoot me 1 if you can hear me out there. And he had some pretty stringent requirements. Yeah, I had to provide him with ribeye steaks in the green room and some green M&Ms, and he's back there eating right now. So I don't want to interrupt him too early there. So Facebook user. All right, we've got some people on there. So without further ado, and let's not waste too much of Dan's time here. Oh, I took myself out. Let's add Dan in here. Hey Dan, how you doing?
Good to see you, Mr. Lee. Good to see you. How are you?
Very good. Where are you at today? Are you home?
I'm in my used to be a garage. Now it's my studio. Yeah, it's my Wisconsin location. Yeah. So,
yeah. Very cool. Awesome. And you live in Wisconsin now?
So I have a apartment in St. Paul, Minnesota that I love, and I do a lot of work in St. Paul. And then if you head about an hour and a half from St. Paul into Wisconsin, just over the border, I have my home is in Wisconsin. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Yeah. Well, good to see you, man. Good to see you.
How do you do, Roomy?
Yeah, very good. The snow is finally melted here.
I know, it's great. Yeah. I was in Denver this last week for an event with our institute, of course, and it was 89 degrees, and I'm talking to my wife on the phone, and it was 47 or something. I'm like, oh.
yeah. Hey, I'm going to interrupt for just one more second here. All the people that are signing on right now, if you would just look at that scroll that's across the bottom here, and it just says go to Facebook or go to streamyard.com/Facebook. And if you just go on there and allow permissions, you'll never have to do it again. And that way we can know who you are. Right now, I don't know, Dan, can you see him too? It just says Facebook user. And somebody says XOXO to us both. And I would love to know who loves us both. I would love to know who that is. but anyway, so Dan, we're just going to go right into it while people so hola, senor. Somebody says hola, senor. So again, go to Facebook or StreamYard. Do to that crawl thing on the bottom so we know who you are. Anyway, so Dan, let's go right into the interview here. So Dan,
yes, sir.
Things I haven't ever asked you, and we were even roomies there for a while in Texas. But where were you born, Dan?
So I was actually born in Colorado Springs.
Really?
I lived there until I was about 4.
Wow.
I don't remember anything. I remember faint, you know.
Yeah. Were you a military brat or?
No, no. I was the son of gypsies. So
Huh.
my parents liked to buy and sell businesses. They'd travel. You know, most of our time was in Minneapolis area, in the metro suburbs. You know, but yeah, they would buy a business that was failing and
Yeah.
work really hard to turn it around, and then a year later try and sell it for a profit. Usually lost their ass, and you know, I mean, hard life, but it was kind of cool. We owned a lot of businesses, you know, so I got to grow up. I learned a lot about different things. We had a flower shop, we had a restaurant, we had a couple of car dealerships, a couple of restaurants, we had a grocery store, we had a coffee shop, we had secretarial service, we had, I mean, you know, there's tons of little businesses. So
Wow. Dan, I've got a note here from Clark. It says, "Can you turn up your microphone?" Is that
can
a
I
possibility?
turn up?
Yeah. I
Let's
guess
see. Does that help?
Clark, is that any better?
I think I have to get right on top of this new podcasting mic that I got. It's a great mic. It's the same one that Janet Jackson used when she recorded one of her Rhythm Nation album, one of her big albums. But
I was thinking you kind of looked a little bit Janet-like tonight. So
I'm waiting for the wardrobe malfunction.
Well, it was Lucas Meyer who was speaking Spanish to us. So, hey, Lucas, how you doing, man?
La bala la plata.
So you are the son of gypsy entrepreneurs.
You know, they were really wonderful people and worked so hard. I learned a great work ethic, especially my dad. I mean, my mom too, both of them for sure. I don't want to short my mom; she deserves, you know, tons and tons of credit. But I mean, they were just gutsy. They just did it. It was kind of fun to watch, and I never realized as a kid that like normal people don't live this way. You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't weird at all that I had 22 addresses by the time I graduated from high school. You know, that was normal. Doesn't everybody live like that?
God, I think you might be talking about my kids' lives. I'm not sure. But yes, Melanie, I can see your name now. Thank you, Melanie. And so you already told me the next question what your mom and dad did. So they were just kind of serial entrepreneurs.
Well, you know what? My dad, my mom and dad quit doing that when they were about 50.
Yeah.
My mom actually went back to college and became a teacher. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah, at age 50, she graduated top of her class at age 54 and went on to teach for 15 years. Very successful teacher with a great career, and it was kind of the settling down point in their life. You know, it was
wow. What did she teach? Like just elementary school, or
she taught probably the most
a recurring theme of what we hear in our lives today now, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. If you serve them, you don't really have to sell anything, do you?
That's right. Find solutions. You know?
Yeah.
That was very much his mantra. So
yeah, that's awesome. So do you have any brothers and sisters?
I do. I have two younger brothers, Derek and David, the 3Ds. All of our initials are the same, and they're great guys. But my best friends, they both live here in town. I see them a couple times a week for sure. I'm actually going to see both of them tonight when we're done here. I'm going over. Derek, my oldest younger brother, is a singer in our band, and my little brother Dave is the guitar player or the bass player depending on the week, and I play drums. So when Dad was with us, he played bass, and we kind of had a little family thing going, so it was fun.
Dad is singing bass.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for sure.
So you are the oldest.
I am still the oldest. Yeah,
it's funny because I've been interviewing entrepreneurs now for a while, and I would say 90% of them now that I've interviewed are the oldest kid.
Oh,
I am the youngest, but 90% of the entrepreneurs I have interviewed are the oldest kid. That's interesting.
Interesting. It is interesting. And how many were middle kids? That's what I want to know. Were there any middle kids at all that were?
That's interesting. Let's ask our audience. Any middle kids out there? Give us a 1 if you were a middle kid out there. There's a little delay, but we'll go on to the next one. So, instruments played, Dan. How many instruments and what do you play?
So I started out on the violin, And on the violin, I was, let's see, what was that, 5th grade. My mom really wanted me to play classical music. We weren't allowed any music in the house other than we had a record player and a stack of Vivaldi and Chopin and Bach and Beethoven. And, it's all very, very classical. And so I started on violin, and I
Wow.
faked my way through a year of violin. I remember the concert at the end of 5th grade, and I sat there and I pretended to play, and I didn't even know, I hated it so much I didn't even know what I was doing. So I finally convinced my mom to let me quit violin, and I said, "Mom, I want to play drums. I want to play the drums. That's what I do. I can play the drums." Oh, forget it. No way.
Yeah.
No. So I joined band without telling her. I played drums 6th and 7th and 8th grade, and she found out my 8th grade year that I had joined band.
Really?
The teacher called my mom up and said, "Hey, just wanted to let you know." I don't remember what it was. Practice has been canceled for our big concert or something like that. And she said, "I'm sorry, he's not in band. I think you're confused." I'm sorry, he's my first chair snare drum player. He's been that way for 3 years. I kind of need him.
Wow.
It was a little troubling to my mother, but that's okay. And I went on to have a career in rock and roll,
Yeah. Huh. So that leads into the next question I have. So bands that you've played in, what bands of note have you played with?
So musically speaking, I realized at a young age, I got to tour around as a drummer with a group called Captive Free. It was a Christian rock band, and our job was to go around, and we played in churches and high schools, and we did some concerts, and we did some big youth gatherings and coffee shops and colleges, and it was kind of I was 19, I think, when I went out on tour. They gave us a van and a PA system, and they had somebody that booked all of our gigs for us, and I was just the drummer, but we went out and had a heck of a time, different city every day for 6 days a week, all over the western half of the U.S. for 2 years.
Wow.
We had Mondays off. I think they paid me $50 a month as a stipend. All my expenses, all the beer you can drink, and which at a Christian band that was like 3.
Right. Right.
We were still pretty tame at that age.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started out playing drums with Captive Free, and that was a lot of fun. I was in a couple of just local garage band stuff before that.
Yeah.
But when I came back, I played in a band called Deadlock. Yeah. And when I returned, I moved to Chicago. The guitar player in Captive Free said, he was from Chicago. He said, "Come to Chicago and go to this great school called Columbia, and let's learn how to be sound men. And I have a PA system, and we'll go out and rent the PA out, and blah, blah, blah." We had these big dreams. So I moved to Chicago. Luckily, my uncle had lived there already, so I moved in with my uncle and went to college there in Chicago to run sound and learn audio engineering. I actually went to the division of the school where you build recording studios. That's what you learn how to do it. So it was very acoustically, fundamentally, a lot of physics and math and stuff. It was fun. It was really great.
Yeah.
But I got to meet some great people. You never really go to those schools to do anything other than network with the right people.
Sure. Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
So
who's
the star of note that because I know you've met some pretty big rock and roll people. What's the best rock and roll person you've ever met?
Well, you're pulling hard here. I understand though. So as an audio engineer, I got to work with a lot of fun people. I wasn't necessarily playing drums with these people, but
right. No, I know.
I did get to do a lot of travel. I got to work with Ozzy Osbourne at a bunch of shows. That was really, really fun. I got to work with Sheryl Crow. We did a lot of festivals. Like I got to work with Horde Festival. I got to work with, for those of you that remember the concerts in Somerset, Wisconsin, the Oz Fest. I was at all of those. There was the Edge Festival. Though I did Warped Tour stuff. I toured with Sandler and Young back in the.
Sandler and Young.
Yeah,
Wow.
I remember.
Wow, you're old. So am I. I guess.
This is how old Tony Sandler. I mean, I was Sandler and Young. Tony Sandler was the one that I worked with the majority of the time. But I mean, this guy with this rich voice,
Yeah.
And a baritone singer who just sang like the most beautiful bird in the world. And he actually was on the Ed Sullivan Show, and Sonny and Cher opened up for him. That's how old he is.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. So let's go into your drummer. Favorite song to play?
Favorite song to listen to, or favorite song to play?
To play.
Okay. Well, my favorite song to play. I'm not claiming that I play it well, but I have been working on this song for years at just a couple of places that still drives me nuts. Tom Sawyer by Rush.
Oh,
Right.
love Rush. I
That's
love
a
Rush.
fun song to play. Very
Yeah.
busy on the drums, you know.
Yep. Awesome. All right. So let's go. So now you've been in band, you've been doing sound, all this. So how did we make the jump from that to coaching?
Well, there's a couple steps in there for sure.
Okay, well, brief me on the steps.
I woke up one morning. I was in Deltaville, Virginia. It's right on the Chesapeake Bay. Beautiful little place. I was touring with a woman named Pamela Cannon, who was one of Bob Seger's backup singers. We were up and down the East Coast. We'd been traveling together for at least a year and a half or 2 years. And I was starting to feel, I was getting closer to like 28, 20. Actually, I think I might have just been getting ready to turn 30.
Okay.
And I started to feel like there was something more.
Right.
Just showing up and schlepping PA gear and running sound and partying afterwards until 9 a.m. That there was more to it. And I remember very vividly waking up in my hotel room. It actually was like a Airbnb before Airbnbs were around, and it was this little cabin. And I woke up and I was still inebriated. There was people all over my room. It looked like a scene out of an 80s rock and roll movie,
Yep.
Booze containers.
The Hangover.
We had way more fun than was legally allowed for sure the night before. And I just looked around and I was a little embarrassed. I was shocked, and I never really saw my life this way before, but I was like, man, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. This is not, I was made for something more important than this, and I have to get my shit together and go home. So I went home. I tried to go home, actually. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I'm in Virginia. Can I come home? Can I, I want to turn my life around. I want to get a job. Can I come home? She said, no.
Oh.
I said, no. I won't go into why. We burnt some bridges with her,
Sure.
But she said, you can stay in the garage. Finally, I wore her down to giving me the garage. So I piled up a bunch of boxes at the end of the garage, and I had a mattress that they had from when I was a kid there, and I put the mattress behind the boxes. And when they'd go to work, I'd go in and use the shower, or I'd go to the gym and shower at the gym. And I just had to put myself together again. I had to figure out what am I supposed to be doing here? I only know how to do a couple of things really well. And none of them are going to keep me out of trouble. None of them are going to give me the kind of things that I was starting to feel well up inside of me. So I had to do a lot of thinking, and it was, challenging when your dad comes out into the garage at 4:30 in the morning and wakes you up with the exhaust pipe rumbling and he's going to work, right? And you're going, man, I'm almost 30, and my friends own homes. They're married. They have mortgages. They have children. They have jobs and careers. And I have like 2 full PA systems and a suitcase and a drum set.
Yeah.
That's what I own, and a book full of photos.
Right. Great memories.
So it was definitely, I came home, I got a job. I ended up working with CBS Broadcasting. I got into radio and TV sales, and that's where I found out that I loved marketing. Loved marketing. Fast forward a few years, I started a newspaper here in my small town in Wisconsin, and the newspaper business was dying, so we turned it into a digital agency. Digital agency turned into coaching.
Wow.
And kind of a long path around. Thanks for asking. I don't talk about this very much. Appreciate it.
I wanted to know. Yeah. People want to know.
Lane here. Yeah.
So from a newspaper to a digital agency. Very cool. And then most of the people on here are probably Entre students anyway. But so from that digital agency, where did you run into Jeff Lerner?
So Jeff Lerner used to have a business partner before it was called Entre Institute. The business partner was Jordan Mederick, who's a dear friend of mine and lives in my town here.
Oh,
Jordan's father is my pastor. And so Jordan got me into the business of coaching. We worked together in another company before I had met Jeff. Jordan had reached out and said, "Hey, I need somebody who can learn to do this thing called affiliate marketing. Do you know what that is?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, here, let's teach you." Anyways, it kind of brought me in and taught me the ropes. And I coached with another company with Jordan for about a year. When Jordan left that company and started partnering with Jeff and one other person, a guy named Andrew Cass, when the three of them were working together, Jordan brought me with him.
Wow.
So that's how I met Jeff. We had a mutual friend. Just kind
Wow.
of a coincidental run-in that Jordan would live here in my town.
There are no coincidences. I'm certain there is no coincidences. So I'm going to ask you another question.
Sure.
So tell me your why.
Yeah, that's a good question. This thing changes so often. It changes all the time.
Mine does too. Mine does
too. For a long time, I didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing here. Why am I here? What is my purpose? And when I met my wife, she kind of put me on the straight and narrow. When we had children, it gave me a completely different perspective. So I'm going to give you the post-parenthood why. Is that okay?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I would have to give that too. Yeah.
Everything that I do is for my kids. That's my why. That's everything I do. I mean, I could talk about music. I could talk about work. I spend a lot of time here at this desk behind this microphone away from my family. So it's probably hard to hear me say, well, everything you do is for your family. But we went into an agreement 4 years ago about how much we were going to work and what we were going to do. And we came to a 6-year plan. And so everything I do is around that 6-year plan that my wife and I have planned. And in 4 short years from now, we're going to be able to live a lifestyle that we've deliberately planned. And that is we're going to have some properties that we're going to be able to travel back and forth to in our RV. And we're going to be able to travel. And so that's really been my why, is getting to a place where I can just dedicate whatever free time I have to supporting my wife and my kids.
That is awesome. I think we have some similarities there too. We've got kind of a plan in place there for that too. So similar, just very similar. So so let's move on here. So you're a coach with Entre Institute. Yeah. How do people get involved with you? If we probably have some people that aren't with Entre. How do people get involved with you? How do they want, if they want to?
Yeah, I think that, first of all, coaching is not necessarily the first place that I would start, to be honest with you.
Right.
I think it's really important. I love, and you've been to these events with me too, and with others, of course. And I think it's really important to get clarity on what it is you're trying to accomplish. Before you go build a business, what is it that you want to do with your business? If your reason for building a business, this is my opinion, right? If your reason is I need to make more money, then you're not ready to build a business. If that's the reason you're building a business, right? So in my opinion, getting some clarity about what it is that you want to do with your life. I love those of you that know Adam Whiting. He does a dreamscaping exercise where you literally say, you design your life. What in 5 years, where do I want to live? What do I want to drive? What kind of clothes am I going to be wearing? What type of relationship am I going to have with my wife? What relationship will I have with my kids? What kind of health will I have? All of these questions, and then starting putting those pieces in place to go there and actually do that, and reverse engineer those things into action steps. So getting clear, first of all, number one, once you get clear, then you need some training. You need to know how, obviously, if you're familiar with Entre, you know that there's 3 tracks. We do a digital agency. We do a knowledge course building. If you have some knowledge that you want to share and create a course, we teach you how to do that. And then, of course, affiliate marketing, right? Those are the three big ones. We're going to be adding some more to that in the near future. I can't tell you what it is, but it's exciting.
Oh.
Once you've figured out what you want to do, then you've chosen the path that you want to take it. That's when you can get into coaching.
Yeah. I gotcha.
So for me, how do you get into coaching? Call your friend Lee Klopp.
There you go. Perfect. I love that. All right. I have some dumb questions. What's the biggest fish you ever caught, and what kind?
Boy, the biggest fish I ever caught was a northern, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have it right here. I go to Canada every year. Thanks for asking about fishing. Did you do
Yeah.
that on purpose? Or did you ask all your guests that?
No, I did it on purpose. I know you're from Minnesota.
Oh, okay. So this is Fat Dan many years ago. Let's see if we can get that to. Anyways, there's
Yeah.
a northern in there the size of my.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Wow.
so that was the biggest fish that I've caught.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah, big.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, Dan, so you're gonna get together with me this summer sometime, and we're gonna have a couple beers, and you're gonna play drums on my patio.
Am I bringing my own drum?
Oh, they'll be singing, they'll be carousing and whatnot. But thank you very much. I like to wrap these up in around 30 minutes, so we're right at the right getting there. Is there anything that you would like to tell? This is going to go out on a YouTube. Anything that you would like to say to people? What message?
Well, thanks for giving me like a minute to just kind of close up. Here's you ask me what my why is. Here's what I believe. I believe firmly that this world wants us to fail, that our systems that are in place right now are not set up for us to win. If you look at our education system, our banking system, our healthcare system, our tax system, sometimes our government, if you look at our world right now, it is not set up for us to have success. It's set up for us to be sheep. It's set up for us to be addicted to dopamine, addicted to serotonin, addicted to quick changing images and flashing lights. And we are oversensitized. We're overstimulated. We're told we're stupid if we think outside of the box. We're told that parents don't count anymore. There's so much going on in our world. I feel like one of the things that I can do for sure is to encourage people to wrap themselves around entrepreneurial values. And I think that that's what saves this world. All of those things that we just listed, all of those problems, all of they're solved by people who live and endear entrepreneurial values, right? And what kind of entrepreneurial values? Entrepreneurial values are we talking about? We're talking about stick-to-itiveness, dedication, integrity, doing the hard stuff well, looking forward to leaning into things that are difficult and making the way. And I firmly believe that's what's going to save this world. So thanks for letting me say that.
I totally couldn't agree with you more. You said it perfectly. I'm not even going to add to it. It's perfect. You said it perfectly. It's I want to thank people like you that I look up to and Entre. I was floundering until I got into this system, and I feel such sense of alignment since I've been involved, and I missed you at Influence, young man. And
horrible.
Yeah, and if you can go, you should. I can only tell you should go if you can go. It's kind of weird. I had more revelations there than I did at the first two. It was amazing to me. So
really,
nice. Yeah.
Every student that I've had that has gone to Influence has said the same thing, that I can't believe they didn't charge more.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to go to the one in September. There's an Insight, May, June, July, I think August as well. That's the first one. Then there's the Impact. The next Impact is August, and then there's the next Influence is September, and I'll be going there. And I think Jeff Lerner is going to be at that one too.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we can get Susie to that one, and then I'm gonna staff it. So I'll be there. I'll be there to beat you guys into submission. So
good.
Well, we'll wrap this up. Dan, thank you very, very much for taking. I know your time is precious. Thank you very much for taking the time, and I hope to see you very soon.
My pleasure, Lee. You're a good friend, and I wish you just huge success with this podcast. And you know that you always have me in your corner. So good luck with everything.
Absolutely. Oh, we're gonna crush them.
Oh yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Take care, buddy.
All right. Be grateful in everything that you do. Thanks.
Thanks. Good night, everyone.